One thing I miss about Pride is you could do the dick twister.
Oil check.
Oh,
oil check.
2 fingers.
Yeah, 2 fingers. That's a more gentler insertion.
The nut twist. He's grabbing my nuts.
You're supposed to do it with your mouth, Ian.
Hooters.
Cross-dressing.
I'm actually into it. He shaves his ass.
A diaper. Like, this is some weird shit. I'd break out in a sweat and bite my lip. I was like,
I need to switch places. Diaper.
He does wear a diaper.
tea and poor dental care. But I mean,
I think
Michael Bisping would have something to say about that.
oh, shit. Like, he can see me.
I'm not a lesbian. Diesel dyke. I'm a jet fuel dyke.
Bear and twink.
Midget. OnlyFans. OnlyFans.
Breakmyasshole.com.
Gay.
Stop bothering me, bitch.
Star Wars is like the worst shit ever. Crack.
Dick twister.
Dick twister.
Dick twister. OnlyFans.
Third circle jerk.
It's only weird if you make eye contact.
My balls.
Crotch ripper.
OnlyFans.
I don't know if this is legal. Crack is good.
Dick.
Blow him the fuck off.
Blow him off.
Blow him off. Blow him off.
Blow him.
Blow him off. Blow that farmer.
Blow him off. Dick twister. Dick twister.
Straight for the dick.
It's a ball twister.
Okay. I train at Palm Beach Gardens Martial Arts.
Okay.
Nice. Is that with Igor?
Igor and Natasha, yeah. Igor's from Renato Tavares up in Vero, and then Tasha's from Fight Sports down in Miami, and so the combination's pretty cool.
They used to go to Velardo's from time to time. They were close friends with Mauricio for a little while there.
Wow.
I know he came down, trained with us once or twice.
Yeah, Velardo was the first school I stopped at when I was here. Then I went to Combat Club, and then I ended up at Excel.
Yeah.
Cool.
And now we train with Fernando at Rodriguez Jiu-Jitsu.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, out in Wellington. Really great teacher, really nice guy too. Smaller gym, but it's adequate, and he really takes time to work on everybody's individual game, so it's nice.
Yeah, he's a good instructor. Attention to detail.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Eddie, are we ready?
Yeah.
All right, cue the music. Welcome to the Sofa Kingdom Podcast with your hosts, Nelson,
Ian,
Ed.
and our special guest today,
Margo.
Hey, all right. Margo, you have your own podcast as well. What is the name of it?
Jitzchickz.
Very nice. And where can people find you?
Right now we're on Instagram. We are on Patreon, SoundCloud, and YouTube. So.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
check
Right
him out.
within.
Yeah, we're trying to get ourselves into various places as well, so we're having fun getting out there. Yeah.
I don't want to be famous. Don't follow me.
You heard her, follower. So,
Like, subscribe, share. All the above.
so one of the things that I seen, I don't know, some people find it they found it a little disturbing. They found it unpleasing to the eyes. Was the Evander Holyfield fight with what's his face?
Nope, not helping.
No, Vitor Belfort.
Vitor Belfort. That's right, the man with the perm.
Well,
so
Oh no.
it's TRT Vitor now.
yes, yeah. Oh, he was
Back to full
fucking
power.
jacked. He had all the juice.
So that's what happened.
Yeah. And like they just wheeled Evander Holyfield to the ring, and they propped him up with crutches, and he got in there. And I think Evander really thought it was going to be an exhibition fight, and Vitor Belfort thinking it was going to be a fight to the death, Kumite style.
And that's something we were talking about yesterday, where I was like, yeah, in boxing, you kind of have a standard of there's exhibition fights. People take it a little bit easier. We've seen that when Tyson had the fight not too long back there. Where in MMA, you really don't have like a light fight. There is no kind of touchy-feely, we're just getting it.
Yeah.
It's fighting.
Yeah,
So
MMA puts on less freak shows. Boxing, especially lately, has become like a circus.
unless you go to Russia. Russia is all about the freak show with the MMA.
You used to see freak shows in MMA, but that was when Pride was running, you know? They would have like a guy at 7'1",
Yeah.
like 350 pounds, fight like a 150-pound Japanese guy.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
I have to say the one thing I miss about Pride is you could do the dick twister. I mean, I do it
that's
all
your
the time.
specialty.
I do it all the time, but
I have dabbled in it, but I no longer practice the dark arts.
own,
Yeah.
Ian.
Yes,
Sorry.
yeah. No,
Sorry.
Eddie loves
That's how
the
you
oil
train.
check. He's the oil check king. He's like thumb in, insert.
No, it's the 2 fingers.
You
Unless they're in
Oh,
Japan,
okay.
and then it's
Only 2.
all 4.
Yeah,
Well,
the 2
I-
fingers. That's a more gentler insertion.
To go back to high school wrestling, the nut twister is definitely a good way to get out of compromising situations. You know what I mean?
Being a smaller person, like I miss that. I wouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
Whenever I would wrestle, you could always you knew because you could hear the guy yelling, "He's grabbing my nuts! He's grabbing my nuts!"
And then usually Ian's like, no, it wasn't me.
Instantly, you just go to the inner thigh. Like I'm not doing that. As soon as the ref walks out,
You're not supposed to do it with your mouth, Ian.
Yeah. You know, but when I watched the fight, I didn't think it was all that bad. And I feel like there's also a double standard, too. Because when Ben Askren got his ass whooped, because he's not such a likable guy, everybody was like, he deserved it. He stepped into the ring with a boxer and, you know,
well, we were all hoping he'd win. We were hoping he would win.
Right. But when Evander got beat in such a fashion, everybody was all over it.
Am I messing this up?
No, you're fine. You won't be able to
I'm messing everything up.
It's either that or there's a gigantic...
No, it's my telekinesis. It's like when I get like...
We were all listening to that like natty sound coming in.
Yeah. When the fruit bowl starts to move, that's when I'm going to wonder what's going on.
Who's the fruit bowl? Oh, the actual
fruit bowl starts to slide around. Your telekinesis is really going to be on full display.
Yeah, so, you know, when I watched the fight, I didn't think it was all that bad, but the referee stopped in just the nick of time and, you know, saved face a little bit for him. But
me personally, to me, it felt like I was watching my grandpa get beat up. It had like it had memories of way back when I watched Randy Couture get his ass whooped by Brock Lesnar at Hooters.
Oh yeah,
and I remember Hooters. Remember that place?
Yeah. What's Hooters?
So anyway, I used to watch fights out, and this was probably the last fight I watched out until I came to Florida, because I watched it at Hooters, and Hooters in Pennsylvania. It drew a lot of pro wrestling fans.
Yeah.
So to watch my hero, Captain America, Randy Couture, get pounded out, and then have all the unanimous WWE fans rise around me and cheer, a piece of me died, you know?
Yeah.
A piece of me still dead.
Randy doesn't know it, but he's my future husband. He doesn't know.
Doesn't know yet?
Even after the video he put out?
I don't care.
Okay.
Oh,
all right.
Okay. All right.
Maybe that was a plus.
You have a cauliflower ear fetish?
Yes, obviously. I have a big ear fetish. That's
okay.
It has nothing to do with cauliflower, but cauliflower helps.
Yeah.
What's that? You like to whisper into his ear even though he can't hear it? Because
I think, you know what? I never thought about that. That's probably what it is that they don't listen to me. And so they don't have to get to know me, and then that's why they like me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Nice.
Interesting theory.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Eddie, you should try it. See if it works for you.
Eddie would need to get cauliflower to begin with, though.
No, so far so good.
Yeah, me neither. Nothing. 8 years, nothing.
Yeah.
I've had that stuff drained, but, you know.
Yeah, no,
that's a
haven't
different
had any
problem
issue with it. Yeah. Genetically, I'm superior, so that's why I don't get
Okay.
cauliflower.
All right.
We can tell.
That's good, yeah. We can tell.
Well, what about you, Ed? Anything new?
The only thing I see new really this week was a new hack on the iPhone. Gets you into all of them, and it's no clicks at all. It's literally a cable. You plug it in, and it steals your information from up to a mile away. So,
that's good. That's
congratulations, anyone who has iPhone and Apple stuff. It's
I have so many apologies.
And you can find it on Hack 5. They normally sell little things like that, but this is one of those. They say there's a problem, they inform the problem, they ignore the problem, so they go, all right, fuck it, we're going to sell it.
Right, but didn't they do a patch recently that was supposed
Not
to...
for this.
No, not for that? Damn.
Still currently active.
Damn. So basically you're going to get into my phone and steal all the pics of myself in the shower that I take?
It's literally just, it looks like a lightning cable. It's just like an OEM cable,
right.
But if you plug it into an Apple device, you can steal all their stuff, yeah.
Holy shit.
That sounds like it could have no negative...
None whatsoever. But like I said, security through obscurity, and that's what you get.
So maybe it's just me. I don't know. Has anyone had their iPhone, like old iPhones, catch on fire?
I have not.
I've had 2.
Really?
Something happened. My last iPhone and the one before this one, it like had a battery problem. It would start heating up, and I have like a wood nightstand, and I woke up and there's like burn marks on my nightstand, and then I open it up and there's like Chinese writing in all of my calendars and my notes and like all of my apps. There's like someone had like hacked
Chinese writing into your stuff.
Yeah, and then like wrote in like notes in Chinese, and I'm like,
you got a Beijing love letter.
Like,
it's classic.
I guess
Beijing
so.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Maybe it was like a Chinese ghost.
Yes.
That like broke into my house.
That's what happens
like
when
the ring.
You force their people to build your phone.
See?
That's what they do. That's how they get back at you.
It's fair. That's fair.
There's always a give and take in life.
That's fair. Right.
But to get back on that, I don't know, man. I mean, Evander Holyfield, like, if you're a fighter, you want to fight.
Right.
And we see it all the time in boxing, MMA, whatever. They fight past their prime.
Yeah.
No one wants to admit it's time. You know?
True.
But 58 with bilateral shoulder surgeries and replacements, you might be time
Yeah.
to stop fighting. I don't know.
I think they see other older fighters getting back in the ring too, and you know, a little nostalgia hits you. You're a fighter, you want to fight, like you said, and they get back in the ring thinking they could do it too.
Yeah, and it's like, but when Tyson came back, he came back against Roy Jones, like, and we all knew what it was going to be. Like the rules leading up to it, it's like, oh, it's an exhibition.
Yep.
And they're both kind of around the same age. They're both over the hill. It's two guys. You know, when Julio Cesar Chavez came back, he fought another. Like it was, they're all set up kind of competitive.
Right.
Like Vitor is a monster. Like he fought MMA, but at one point in time, Vitor was going to go into pro boxing. Like when he first started in MMA, that was one of the avenues he was considering. He even said at the press conference, at one time he was sitting down with a promoter, with Muhammad Ali. Like they were all at the table, and he was discussing like, which avenue am I going to go? The money's with boxing, but he kind of said, I'm a trailblazer in MMA. I'm kind of making history here. Yeah. I'm going to go with my passion, my first love, and he went the mixed martial arts route, and
which worked out for him.
It did. But everyone makes the joke, TRT tour. Like, we all know that Vitor on TRT, he has, like, a war mullet. Like, he's fucking superhuman.
No,
like,
he was jacked. Which, he really was.
Today, everyone's on it. It doesn't even matter anymore. It's like...
Yeah. Even in, like, low-level, like, jiu-jitsu tournaments, you hear people are getting themselves on the juice.
Yeah,
well, I mean, shit. Like, you take a look at some of these jiu-jitsu tournaments. I mean... Is anybody piss testing Galval?
I mean, some of the people walking around there could walk right onto a bodybuilding stage.
I mean,
and they look just right at home.
I don't give a fuck how many acai bowls you eat. You are not going to look like Usamar Palhares. You're not. Like,
I'm going to go dump my fridge out.
Exactly. What the fuck are they putting in those berries?
A lot of people say that I look like him.
Oh, yeah? Little taquino, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. No, I you know, it is rampant everywhere, and like the whole, especially Triller itself, Triller, the company, they set up like the worst. Yeah. Like if you watch the Jake Paul fight when he fought Askren, the whole thing was weird as shit. Like Ric Flair was there. Like it was, I don't know what kind of.
It's a circus, man.
It is a circus.
Yeah, it's a circus.
And the guy that was supposed to fight Vitor is no better. It's Oscar De La Hoya, who is literally a drug addict. Like I mean, if you watch the Jake Paul fight,
I kind of want to see that though.
But that's the thing, like,
and that's why these things do well.
It's
like,
it's almost like
De La Hoya is the one that does got caught cross dressing, wasn't he?
Yes, and he's also the one with a coke problem.
Dressed in the whole
I
9 yards.
I didn't know that.
Yes. Oh yeah, it's real.
Yes.
The pictures are out there.
My excitement. Right
Oh yeah.
You can Google. You can go ahead and Google on air.
Yeah, it's quite amazing.
I learned something new today.
I will do it for you. My search history is already compromised.
Yeah. Oh no, we know.
I ain't
we
worried
know.
about
What are you about to show me? Because I think it's going to be an accident. When
It's Oscar De La Hoya, don't worry.
He's looking for the actual photos. Yeah.
He did say he had to go to the bathroom before he came in.
I did.
He did take his time too.
Wasn't
Guys,
that long.
come on, guys, come on.
Wasn't that long.
But no, Oscar De La Hoya is a perfect example of
I
like
didn't know that.
no one helping him. Like,
But
Yeah.
nobody is saying, "Oh my god."
But
Found them?
with all those,
Oh, they're amazing. Yeah, no, they're that good.
yeah.
Yes.
Everyone at home, Google it.
I hate to say
You'll
this.
love it.
He looks great.
I hate to say I'm actually into it. I'm actually into it.
Yeah, I'm about it.
Well, so Ian,
I would spar him a couple rounds. Like
yeah,
that. You know.
only if he's
In the
dressed like that.
pictures.
Only if he's dressed
Oh,
like
okay,
that.
all right. Yeah, that makes sense.
You would think some of these fighters would have someone in their corner, like, "Hey, man, it's time to stop. It's been well enough time. You've been out of the game.
Yeah.
No matter what condition you're getting back in there at, still your age is catching up
Yeah,
to
and
you."
he's clearly suffering some head trauma.
Yeah, and
I mean, you've seen the fishnet stockings.
yeah. Some people.
I must
rock
have
it.
a lot of head trauma then. If that's what it means to have head trauma.
No, on him.
I don't think they haven't done a PTSD study or that. Like you know, I know we're doing it with football. They're doing it with boxing. They're doing it with all these other sports. With CTE.
Yeah.
They haven't done it with jiu-jitsu yet, and I wonder if you compare it, like, because technically, if you go unconscious, are you suffering like?
Yes.
Okay.
My friend just had a stroke, and he's like 20-something.
Okay.
A lot of people having a stroke.
So how many times?
Yeah, blood
in
clots
jiu-jitsu
are definitely a thing.
Right.
If you're being too proud and fighting certain chokes
Not
too long.
tapping.
Yeah, like if you're caught in a
definitely cause
triangle and it's
problems.
deep, there's a lot of pressure going on everywhere, and
Yeah.
you're not. You're literally holding your breath, building up pressure.
Yep.
You're trying to get out. If you're trying to fight out of it, I mean,
That's why I go for wrist locks.
oh, that's why.
Like,
That's
fuck
why,
you
yeah.
guys. I'm
Yeah.
gonna hit you with that wrist
Over
lock,
here.
please.
Yeah, he'll. Yeah.
Hate me later, but I'm going out.
I've been going for a lot of toe holds because the defense is typically for someone to go for a toe hold on me, and no one wants to touch my feet. So I usually get them. Yeah. No, you guys are real weird.
No.
Can we switch places? Because
Ian, outside.
If you look at my feet and you're like okay with it, there's a problem.
Oh, that's great. So, Ian, how about
There's a lid for every pot.
Yeah.
Anything new? I know you're into the world of sumo.
Oh my God! Actually, yeah.
I love sumo.
For people that are watching sumo, the Sumo Tournament, September tournament is going on right now. I think it was day 7 today. I follow it because it happens in Japan, and I get the video like that day, and then I just go through all the matches and see what's going on.
It's way tougher than people think it is.
Yeah.
So the last time there was a Substars in Miami, Anthony Johnson, Johnson is a friend of mine. We used to ride motorcycles together and stuff.
Nice.
And you know how huge he is.
Yeah. No, he's a big man.
He did a just for fun, a sumo wrestling match.
It was him and Curtis Blades, right? They were supposed to, yeah.
So he shaves his ass and decides to rub it on me before he goes on stage and afterwards, and I'm pretty impressed. We still joke about it today. But it's tough seeing a big dude like that and a sumo wrestler just handle him is crazy.
Well, sumo wrestlers, I don't think they get enough credit. Like it's one of those sports that's old. It's got ancient roots, but like to the outside viewer, and I know I was guilty of it when I first started watching it. Like you look at it and you say, "Oh, it's a big fat slob out there in a diaper. Like this is some weird shit, typical Japan." But no.
But that's what drew you in the first
Yeah,
place. Let's just be clear.
I'd break out in a sweat and bite my lip. I was like,
I need to switch places.
oh, we're just getting started.
Why did you put me here? Don't worry, I'll make it worse.
So, but there's actually a lot that goes into it. A lot of these guys come from wrestling. They come from judo backgrounds. And, like, they're bigger guys because you have to be for the sport.
Right.
There are smaller guys. There's people that, I mean, a small dude in sumo is considered 220 pounds. That's a midget in sumo. But, like, all these guys can do complete splits. They train rigorously.
They live where they train.
Literally in a dojo.
They live in the house together. So, and it's just continuous training.
Imagine how that smells.
I imagine
egg rolls.
I imagine it's not good.
Egg rolls, excuse me, sir.
Stop! I'm hungry. I am cutting weight.
Excuse me. There's hatred over there.
I'm hungry.
I'm the white guy here.
I don't know. What do you want me to say? Why do you think the weight is such an important component?
Just because of the way they start. Like, when they start, you literally, you line up, and we go through the ranking system now, but you line up across from your opponent, and you drop down to a position, and they're amazingly dexterous for their size.
Like, to be.
They're much more limber than your American fat guy.
Yeah.
So, so they drop down. When both knuckles touch the ground, they go. And literally, your size plays a part when you slam into each other. It's kind of like MMA. There's a big difference. Like, no matter how technical Demetrius Johnson is, he's not going to beat Alistair Overeem. Like, there's there's weight classes. Right. So when you have a 450-pound guy slamming into a 300-pound guy, the 300-pound guy better know some shit or he's in trouble.
Can you imagine the food bill? I can't even afford the shit that I eat.
I'm sure.
Actually, I tried to make what they eat. They eat this sumo stew that's called chonko nabe. It's like meat, vegetables. I actually made it. It is the most, it's good, but it's the most filling shit ever.
Oh,
and every day they eat it and then take a 4-hour nap every day.
Yep.
So that they retain
so they gain size.
So I'm going to do sumo then.
Yes.
But there's a lot of technique to it, though. The way they grab the diaper thing, I don't know what it's called.
I don't know what it's called either. But
how do you watch it? You don't know what it's called.
It's all literally in Japanese when I watch it.
Okay.
I know when they push you out, it's yorikiri. I'm starting to get it.
You're almost there.
I know the ranks. I know it's Megashira, Sekewake, Komosube.
Man, they all sound like different versions of Gundams or Power Rangers.
You probably sound so stupid in Japanese.
I probably do. I
feel like Japanese people are listening. You're like, what the hell is this? But there's a lot of technique.
It's okay, I have a man bun. I'm trying.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm doing my best.
And he does wear a diaper, so.
And I do wear a diaper. I'm on my way.
That's true.
I'm on my way.
That's true. Can I lift it, though?
Try.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm always down for new
I got to get the right angle.
I just call that a good time.
Yeah. Call that a Tuesday. I'm good. But no, so that's going on, and it's amazing. Like, for people that don't know anything about the sport, it's worth checking out just because there's a lot more involved. Like, when you first see it, you're like, what the hell am I like? But the more you dive into it, it's actually a really interesting sport. It's amazing to see the context from the sports here, where there's a lot more arrogance, like trash talk. Like, we're used to like NFL celebrations. A guy gets his touchdown, he picks up a cell phone.
It's like a reality show.
They'll literally win a title, get an award and they don't do anything. Like they show the discipline and shit and the respect in sumo. They'll win like the grand champion thing and they'll just bow. And like, and it seems boring in a way, but
respectful.
Yeah.
Is it similar to Muay Thai? Like I know Muay Thai, traditional Muay Thai, when they get into the ring, they have a ritual, the dance,
and then the betting.
The betting. That's cultural too.
Yeah.
It really is.
I would say Muay Thai is more woven into the lifestyle of Thailand than Japan. Like sumo is like Japan's national sport. It is. And like the Yokozuna, the grand champion, is supposed to be like a figure. Like he's like almost like he represents the whole culture of Japan. It's a lot of responsibility. But Muay Thai, it's everywhere.
Yeah, there's a girl at my job. We call her Yokozuna too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for different reasons.
Oh, yeah? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So you all respect her, and she's like a representative of the company. All right.
Oh, yes.
Got it.
Yeah, we hold her in high regards.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason I can.
There's Yokozuna again.
But not like no. That's
is that why they call me? Oh, never mind.
No.
But no, Thai, that's a very good example. Muay Thai is really closely woven in with Thai culture. But there's a lot more like that's a little bit heavier. Like there's people that like their kids, like families that don't have enough food for the kid. They'll send the kid to live in a Muay Thai stable, and that's how they make money for their family.
Yeah, like that child essentially is paying, like they pay for their schooling and their food, and they send money home, and they live, breathe, eat, shit. Taiwan
And they don't.
Traditionally with sumo, some of that was done as well, where some parents, where they had a kid that was bigger and they couldn't afford, they would introduce them and send them off to go into sumo. So it's the same thing with the Thai, with the kickboxing. Japan had that back in the past as well.
And there's shifts in everything. Like, you know how in MMA, like for a while, like all the champions, like when it started out, were like American and Brazilian, and then all of a sudden we had this like influx of, now you're seeing a lot of Dagestanis. Like they're in almost every weight division. There's a Russian or Dagestani fighter, and and then all of a sudden now we have like even an African boom.
Well, what's
three of the UFC champions are African.
His name already. The Irish guy that just won.
Not Connor. You're talking of.
Yeah, what's
the guy? Paddy Pimblett.
Yes.
With the horrible Beatles haircut.
Oh,
he's my hero.
English. He's a hero. Paddy the Batty. Yeah, Paddy the Batty.
I didn't really pay attention, but yeah, I just heard of him just now, and he's like so adorable.
Oh, dude, I'm actually happy.
He looks like the guy from Kingpin.
Yeah.
Who he really looks like is one of the Saturday Night Live characters. There's a picture of him going around. It is.
I'm in my dark place.
Yes.
But he's a beast. So,
he definitely lived up to the hype. There was a lot of hype with him coming over because he came from the same promotion as Conor McGregor. He came from like Rage in the Cage, I think it is. It's the British promotion or European promotion, and everybody had this like thing on him. They're like, oh, you gotta. It's like when Conor McGregor, when he first showed up there, all the people in Ireland were like, when are you gonna book Conor McGregor? And Dana's like, who the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
And
it wasn't until he put that suit on.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Same thing with Paddy. Like when all the English guys were like, when are you gonna book Paddy the Batty? He's like, who the fuck is Paddy? And then it's this like weird Beatles
out of
guy.
Nowhere.
Yes.
But he can fight. He can strike. He's got a lot of submission wins. He's good.
His jiu-jitsu is so sharp.
Yeah, his triangles scary fast.
I heard about him for the first time the other day, and I was like, I'm just gonna get into the YouTube wormhole of Paddy the Batty.
Yeah.
And first of all, he's hilarious. Yeah. He's humble, and his jiu-jitsu is so, everything he does is so tight and so sharp and fast, but still accurate. Yeah. It's crazy. I love him.
Which you don't think, when you think England, you don't think high level jiu-jitsu at all.
Where is it coming from?
Yeah, I think tea and poor dental care. But I mean,
I think
I think Michael Bisping would have something to say about that.
Oh, shit. Like he can see me.
I was just gonna say.
And speaking of bad eyesight, bad eyesight in England, can we just talk about Darren Till's eye spacing for a little bit? I mean, the man's borderline Cyclops. He's
he can pull off a unibrow really well, though, I'm sure.
I posted about that, and everyone was like, oh, I just noticed that. I'm like, how do you not notice that for 10 years?
He's the only fighter in the UFC that you could literally blind with one punch. Like, both eyes completely shut.
That's fucked up.
His eyes are so close together.
And I would like to thank you for pointing that out, because when you said something, I was watching the fight, and I cannot unsee it.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
I'm literally watching Derek Brunson fight a Cyclops, and I was like, I hate this.
What was I saying the other? Oh, finding sunglasses must be a real bitch.
Oh, God.
Because you have to find one lens.
And that's what he said.
Or he goes into
Shaded
the
monocle.
kids section,
Just
so
like
they're much closer together.
the Monopoly guy.
Yeah, the Monopoly guy.
A monocle.
Yeah, he's good to go.
One.
But no, like I was saying with the influx, like, and how, like, we go through shifts, like Russian fighters, like European fighters. Sumo is completely dominated now by Mongolians.
Really?
And
so weird.
it's weird. Like that, the last 3 or 4 big Yokozunas have been all Mongolian, and it's not changing now. So it's almost like eventually the Mongolians did conquer Japan.
So you're saying Japan needs a new sport?
Or they just need to broaden their horizons a little, because the one thing you'll find with in that is there's a lot of racism. Like people always attack the U.S. for racism and stuff, but if like you look at like European soccer, if you look at Japanese sumo, our racism ain't shit. Like this stuff is bred into their culture. Like
I'm with you with sumo, but I don't fucking watch soccer, dude. That's like watching golf. It's like watching paint dry.
Hey, Matt literally just left, and you're gonna shit on golf.
Sorry, Matt. Look, I love golf, dude.
He's only saying it because Matt's not here.
Yes, exactly. Talk behind his back.
That's right. You just left, Matt.
Yeah. No, we love you. We love you.
I don't know you, Matt, but I hate soccer. But
I can watch soccer when the World Cup's on, just because I like to.
beat him in soccer, though. So. I played for a long time.
I like to watch people cry. Like
just in general.
Yeah, I'm in the sports.
I don't want to see what else is on your phone.
Nobody does.
So you're like really bad acting then, because nobody on that soccer field is legitimately hurt. Let's be honest.
That's true.
Yeah.
LeBron James would be a fantastic soccer player.
That's true.
It's a lot of
because he's a
whiffs
terrible
and
actor.
falling down and rolling around like some shit actually happened.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes. I don't know. I can watch it during the World Cup. I remember when I watched Brazil lose to Argentina in the one World Cup. I wanted to change my whole career path. I was like, I'm going to be a sports therapist.
Why are you looking at me? I don't watch soccer. Don't look over here for soccer quotes.
You look like a soccer player.
Or any soccer references. I may look like one, but I don't play that shit.
No. I assume Spanish soccer
I tried
player.
playing soccer one time, and they kicked me off the field for continually hitting people. Because I'm like, I'm not using my hands, right? You said I can't use my hands. I was body checking people.
Were you 7?
No, I was like 35.
So like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, they don't want me back anymore. The kid actually walked off the field and went back to his room. He's like, fuck you. And I was like,
I used to trip people, but
yeah, it's fun.
yeah.
That's why we liked hockey.
I don't possess half the coordination to play soccer.
I was a kid last time I played soccer, so I don't really know anymore. But I'm sure I could still do it. I run more now than I ever did. So
I have a lot of me too. But I have a lot of respect for soccer players. But like, I don't know. I do like that the fact that it is something you don't need a lot of equipment to do.
Right.
Like the World Cup, at least for one thing, is unanimously who is the best at it. Like all you need is a ball and earth.
No one's denying about the physically demanding and the skill of it, but also no one really enjoys a game that ends at 0-0
after an hour.
And that is a frequent thing where it's like, and nobody won.
Yeah.
And if we're talking
wasting my time,
4 hours of running.
If you're talking slow and boring sports, I know I'm gonna be attacked for this, but fuck baseball. I mean,
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
Baseball.
I like playing.
I played softball. I'm not a lesbian. But I played. Not that I know of.
That is definitely one of the prerequisites.
I have to tell everyone, look at me. I can't.
Well, you get a little better.
Don't look at me. Listen to me and be like, she's a diesel dyke. I found out the other day that
they have the wrists in softball.
Yeah. Apparently, I'm a jet fuel dyke.
Oh, very nice.
Should I Google that?
I don't know. I made it up. Google it. You can Google it if you want.
What, define the is that like the separation between bear and twink? Like what are we talking?
Yeah,
about?
kind of.
Okay.
So I guess if it's bear, I would be like Sasquatch. Jesus! I couldn't see it past the microphone. I didn't expect you to scream in my ear.
Well, that's a quaint. Yeah. Sasquatch.
It's all the butch things that I do. But I played soccer, I played softball, and now it's jiu-jitsu. And our gym is opening in a different location. It's going to be like 3 or 4 times the size. So now I'm going to get back into boxing and Muay Thai. And
where's that opening at?
Off of, it's called 10th Street right off of North Lake. I don't know the exact address, but almost the very end of North Lake and 10th Street, and it's a big warehouse.
And it's still called Palm Beach.
Still Palm Beach Gardens Martial Arts, yeah.
Okay, awesome.
But they're going to have everything. And they're bringing, like, really good instructors, like Muay Thai and boxing instructors from all over the place. Like, it's going to be crazy.
You have to drop in and check it out.
Yeah. We're going to have 3 different rooms with mats. It's going to be fantastic. So it's good because I really miss Muay Thai, and I'm going to get back into it. I never really did a lot of sparring, but I did a lot of, just boxing and learning how to do it.
And what got you into jiu-jitsu?
Yeah.
What attracted you to it?
Was it your first martial art?
Yeah, I never did martial arts, nothing like it. Like I said, I did soccer and softball and stuff like that. I didn't do sports. That was when I was a kid. I didn't do any sports growing up. I was always into fitness and stuff. Belly dancing, don't ask.
Him too.
I don't, yeah. You're supposed to not have a belly. So basically, I don't do it anymore.
I'm out.
Basically, I can't do it anymore because I got the belly now. But
Jesus.
No, my 31st birthday, I had a couple of friends over, a couple of friends that I hadn't seen since high school, and one of my friends offered me. He worked at a CrossFit gym, and he said, come for free, and I'll give you like a month free, whatever. And I started doing that, and then my other friend who was there too said, well, if you're going to go to his CrossFit gym, you have to try jiu-jitsu. And I was like, okay. So I went in one day and I got crushed by all the black belts, all the brown belts. Everyone just crushed me. And I'm pretty independent. I live alone. I'm on my own. I do everything myself. I pay all my own bills. And I realized how helpless I would be in an actual situation if I were to ever be out. And I'm 5'1". Like, I can't defend myself, So I decided, I was like, I have to learn how to do this to defend myself, because if I'd be dead. There's no way. Yeah. If someone attacked me, if a child attacked me, I would be dead. And I realized how easy it was for them to just manhandle me. And even the girls who didn't have any jiu-jitsu experience, they're like brand new white belts. 2 weeks in, they were still manhandling me.
Yeah. It's definitely eye-opening. I know the first time I tried it, it was a similar experience. I think it was like the first month I was going in there and driving home, like no music on, the windows rolled up. I'm just like, I'm coming back. I'm going to start beating their asses eventually.
You still have those nights.
It was eye-opening.
You still have those nights at Purple Belt.
I
got my ass whooped.
For sure.
Whenever you're feeling too good, and then the professor's like, "Hey,
I hate that look. I hate that look."
I still remember.
Like, oh, you look like you're having a good time.
George looking across the room at me, and he was just
wait,
like,
you guys have a good time? and you feel good?
Oh yeah. Only for a little while, because as soon as Professor sees you like smile, like you just.
Oh yeah, he waits till you feel good. He watches you have a good roll. And he's like, "Oh,
is that why he never rolls with me? I never feel
it's so bad."
You'll get there.
Yeah, no. I do okay against midgets.
Where's that link at?
Yeah.
I'll give you my OnlyFans.
Oh,
I'm kidding. I don't have one.
Yeah.
I did. It is funny because like I found out recently like how much the OnlyFans girls make, and I could never do something like that. I just couldn't.
I could.
As nasty as my humor is, I personally like no.
Sure.
But
there's a price on everything.
For you, maybe.
For me,
allow the woman to speak her mind.
Can I allow my dog with teeth to come in here because I'm afraid? But I found out like how much they make, and these women are like, oh, I'm a hustler, I'm making all this money, and I'm like, wait, you make like $200 for a video? Yeah. I was like, I bought a motorcycle for $1,000 and sold it for $600 yesterday. Like, like I make more doing the stuff that I do than you do in a month. Like, I would never show my butthole for $200. Like, that's insane.
Wait, $200?
What about $300?
You would have to give me $5,000
going rate for buttholes.
Minimum.
RateMyAsshole.com.
No, I'm out of that one. That's all you.
I own that one.
Who's doing the rating?
It's not by me.
The same guys that are doing the oil checks.
It is.
No, but for jiu-jitsu, honestly, like what got me into it was my daughter.
Yeah.
Who's now currently in the Air Force, and she's boxing.
Shout out
she's
Cassie.
a D1 boxer right now in her first year. And in the beginning, she was doing it, and I was watching. I would always go to all of her events as a father, and I would watch intently, and the professor's like, hey, you look like you want to try it. Give it a shot. And then it became something we actually did together. And it brought us really closer together. It gave us a good relationship. It also opened me up to another community outside of the Army Where when I left the army and became a civilian, there was a different dynamic of friendship. Where like when you're in a jiu-jitsu gym, when you bleed, laugh, cry together, beat shit out of each other, there's a different sensibility with people.
You're more in touch with reality.
You are. Yeah. You're in touch with what you can do, what you can't do.
Exactly.
Well, the mats are very honest. It's like if you're humble, if you're egotistical, if you're fake, there's no.
Just saying.
Yeah. there's no. Let's put it this way. There's
It's
no
all
illusions
real here.
There's no illusions
All
on the mat.
real.
You can't lie. You know what I mean? Like you're out there. Who you are is going to come out.
Fake tits.
Damn it. No, but with the exception of like the Go Light guy, I hate that fucking guy.
That's me.
And you know who the fuck you are.
I'm old. That's me. I'm the
They're
Go Light
like,
guy.
hey, let's go light, and then they clap hands and they come at you like a fucking wild animal.
Oh, that's true. I am
Well,
that
there's
guy too.
okay. We can say
Check.
there's a lot of characters in jiu-jitsu though that we could talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Can we
There's
talk
the
about the weird sleep in his van guy?
there's the weird sleep in his van guy.
Sorry.
Once a month we have a new one and then they disappear. I don't get it.
Yeah. But they're travelers. That's what they are. It's
Yeah.
a thing. I've seen it on Instagram.
There's also the
People-
let me show you something guy, and
Oh,
that fucking guy is just as bad. As soon
Yes.
as you start doing well and
Hate
you
that
get
guy.
something locked in,
When
you
you're
know
like-
you're about to win.
You're like 90% there. Oh, you just got to
Wait a
move your
minute.
hand a little bit
Yeah.
over this
Can
way.
I
Like,
show
no,
you
bitch.
something quick? It's like,
Let me
maybe
show you.
after I finish this fucking lock right now. Like,
What I do when people do that to me, like if I have them in the choke and they're like, "Well, what you have to do is," I just wrist lock them.
Yeah.
I'm just like, "Fine, I won't do it at all."
Gotcha.
I'm gonna be terrible in
But you know that's that's what I loved about jiu-jitsu too, is the different personalities, right? You get to be around different personalities and learn how to work with different personalities as well, which translates well into your real life everyday goings, because there's plenty of assholes out there.
then there's
Most
the
of
missing
people-
chromosome guy. The guy that like stares at you from
That's
across
you.
the yeah.
But most of the people I meet
Just
in
like-
jiu-jitsu, they're pretty
I think it's
cool.
an extra chromosome.
That's why I say
Something's wrong.
He's my favorite Neanderthal. He's got all
Yeah,
of the
thank you.
qualities of a Viking.
Yeah.
The
Well, the
hair,
nose and the forehead just give it away. People are like, wait a minute, who thought you out? Like,
Yeah. Like Eddie's the
Cro-Magnon.
caveman, clearly.
Yeah.
You know, right? Yes.
well, you guys discovered how to make fire and use spears, and my people were exterminated. So I'm sorry. Like,
Oh my
fucking
god.
thinking brain people. The rock wasn't good enough for you. Fuck you guys.
Speaking of Neanderthals and people who are not as disciplined, I guess you could say kind of a little wild, the way that you were describing how you went from military to being a civilian and getting into jiu-jitsu, you kind of feel like it's a family again.
Yes.
And people who are like-minded, especially in South Florida, many people are on drugs, total alcoholics, you know, completely out of control of their life, screwing up their life. So in jiu-jitsu, you find a community where people who care about their diet, not me. Are we getting burgers after this?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
But they care about their fitness, their health. They care about their mental health because it's a lot of mental strength that it takes to do jiu-jitsu. So I like being in that environment because you're with disciplined people.
Yeah, and people that care. Because I can't tell you, like, you know, everybody goes through injuries, right? It's a part of any kind of a combat sport. Where if I'm out for like a week or two, I get a little message like, "Hey, what's going on? Everything all right?" You know, people checking on you and make sure everything.
And you're
is
like,
good.
"No, I just felt like taking some time off." And they're
Yeah,
like, "Game."
you're like, I'm watching Game of Thrones every single season.
Even
Stop
care.
bothering me, bitch. Even care. Clearly, you haven't seen the show.
You're still
That show, I hated it.
What?
you're still mad that
There's
brain.
no way that you hate Game of Thrones.
I hate Game of Thrones.
How is this?
I don't like fantasy type.
Oh,
movies,
you're
like
in the
Lord
wrong.
of the
Oh,
Rings.
you're in the wrong house. Have you seen
am I
all the
getting
shit
my
that I
ass
have here? Did you see the
Yes,
plethora
hate it.
of
Hate it.
Marvel memorabilia?
Your dog is literally a centaur, and you hate
I'm just.
that thing came in. I almost cast a protection spell. I was like, what the fuck is that? This lady brought a chimera to the podcast. What the hell? Look at it.
It's only fair. It's
I'm
only
just
fair.
glad that he
I
outweighs
wish you
me
people
now.
could see
Yeah.
this thing. This thing is like,
We can bring him
you
in.
can definitely joust with that dog.
it's like if a lion mated with a horse. This thing is huge.
If
It's like,
you bring
very
him in,
sweet,
he'll hump you like
but very
on
sweet.
camera.
oh, that'll be good for our ratings.
Oh, he will. No,
Actually-
do you know how many comments I got on that last time? Humping my friend. They
People
love
love
it.
that shit. Yeah, they do.
Yeah, you know,
No.
especially in South Korea.
No, but Game of Thrones, I just never. I tried to watch a little bit. I guess I just never got hooked.
Right. Well, if you're not into
It
fantasy,
starts slow. It does.
Yeah, I'm not.
then it's not for you.
It does-
Some
it
people
does
like
start
realistic.
So, like,
things,
no-
some
I like more like
fantasy.
So
realistic
you don't like any fantasy, like you like Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, anything?
Star Wars is like the worst shit ever. Oh, I'm getting attacked.
No.
I just have to. I told you I was going to run you. Careful, the dog's going to break the window.
The dog is like, what is going on? It is time to defend.
He stood up and pointed at my owner.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, we have so much to teach you.
I just, you whenever you would
have to be willing to.
We have some recommended reading.
It's one of those things. It's like comedy, music. People like what they like, and
I guess I just never got in. It's not even so much that I don't like it. It's just that it doesn't do anything for me. I guess I just don't. I just never got into it.
I got it.
I'm sure if I like sat down and like really listened, maybe it would probably be interesting to me.
So then, what kind of movies would you say you're interested in, or is it like all reality TV kind of things?
I love rom-coms. No, I'm just kidding. Horrible. No, I like funny stuff. I like weird stuff, like As Good as It Gets with Jack Nicholson and stuff.
That's a great movie.
Like old. I'm not really into new.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Listen, man.
New movies.
You like Gilmore Girls. You watched every single season.
You make me want to be a better man.
And once again, I'm moving.
It's a great movie.
I like smart movies, smart comedies. Stuff that's like a little bit witty.
Sure. No, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, I love a good comedy myself. I've just always been into fantasy, fiction, things like that. It was something that I gravitated to when I was younger, and I've held with it. Like I was always like the guy that played hockey, football, but then at lunchtime I'd go over to where the nerds were, and I was
Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, let's play a little Magic.
It's a great escape. I think that's why millions and millions and millions of people love it, because it's a great mental escape from like reality and daily life. I don't know. My brain doesn't work that way. I don't know why.
I get it. Yeah. That's cool. I know he loves,
but I understand
Digimon.
where it comes from.
I do love Digimon.
Yeah.
So I mean,
none of us are perfect.
How old is he?
Way too old.
He plays games with pets. What was that game that you were? No, don't you deny it, motherfucker.
Horse statue.
Are you talking about the Tamagotchi?
No,
is that what you're talking about?
No, the other game on the Nintendo.
Oh, the Animal Crossing?
Animal Crossing.
My daughter's video game.
He blames it on his daughter, but he shoves her to the side and he's like, hold on a second. This is my animal.
Video games are like crack, I swear.
They really can be. Yeah, people get into them. I know that's why I had to stop for a while, like, because they will suck the life out of you. When I got into jiu-jitsu, that was my supplement to video games.
Well, they're a very good escape, too. Like,
they are.
And they kind of go, like, it's kind of like hand in hand with the whole fantasy thing.
Yeah.
Like, if you work super hard and, like, you don't want to go out and spend a shit ton of money at the bar. Like, you just want to decompress, like, turn the system on, go kill some dragons.
I just realized how crazy I must be, because like I'm like reality in my face, and I just work, and when I get home, I don't want to watch anything fantasy and relax. I just want more reality. So it's like, I don't know, maybe I'm like,
so maybe you can find something
the problem here.
to like and decompress with.
Have you ever heard a woman say, "I'm the problem"? It's on film. I'm wrong here.
I've never heard.
We got it on camera. We can play this back for everybody.
Every time I say anything, just you said it.
Yeah.
I didn't say that.
So how's it different? Like I mean, we know our experiences, so we can speak from where we're from. But like, how is it different? Like when you first got into jiu-jitsu, like was it? I know that the rate is off. There's much more men in jiu-jitsu than there is women. I mean, a lot more nowadays than it was when it first started. But has it been different for you? Like,
I think all the women who are really into jiu-jitsu and take it far and get to, brown or black belt or whatever, they'll all tell you the same thing. I mean, you're gonna hear a lot of the, Me Too women that are like, it's a male-dominated sport and men don't want to train with me. And I never even thought about it that way. So anyone who makes it like kind of far and really takes it seriously, maybe it's just me. I have blinders on. I walked into the gym. I was like, I'm going to fight men today.
Right.
I don't give a shit. Like, and people
right for their eyes.
Yeah. Well, I am a fighter.
She did say the dick twister.
I'm a little bit of a fighter. I started with the dick twister.
She's in the corner, like warming her wrist up. Like, what's she doing?
No.
I've never thought of anything in my whole life as a male-dominated anything.
Right.
My dad was in construction for 41 years. I did construction with him. I rode motorcycles. I would ride motorcycles with Anthony Johnson and with a bunch of friends. Probably, I think one of the biggest groups we ever had was 4350 guys, and I'm up front. Right. I'm ahead of everybody. I'm faster than everybody. I don't care. Like, I never felt myself in competition with men. I just did what I did, and
you enjoyed it for what it was.
Right.
And I tell you what,
I also never thought of myself as a woman, though, so I guess it's a little different.
I see some of those shades in my daughter when I train with her.
Oh, yeah.
She had a different mentality than the other girls that either came and gone, and she clicked with the other girls that thought the same way that you do.
Yeah.
It was just like, I'm here to train. It doesn't matter if it's a guy, it doesn't matter if it's a girl, and I'm gonna fight and I'm gonna do my thing. And that's what got her into like boxing. She's like, she's the smallest person there.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm there every single day, training 2 hours a day after classes, boxing. And that's how she got into it.
And if you start off with the mentality, this is a male-dominated sport, and I'm coming in as the underdog or something like that, you're putting yourself in the negative to begin with.
To start out, before you even start. Yeah.
So then you're screwing yourself at that point.
Yeah, because it's like when I roll, I try to find balance. Like for instance, when I roll with like Catherine or someone or Cassidy or someone who like, I understand that a 200-pound man, if you roll with a 140-pound woman, you're going to have strength and size advantages.
Right.
It's still it's a respect thing. I roll and I still push them, and it's a give and take sort of thing. Like if I roll with Catherine and she does something super quick, catches me in something, could I muscle out of the sweep and be a dickhead? Yeah. But I go with the sweep because, one, if I muscle out of it, what did we learn? Right. We learned that a 200-pound man can force his way out of a 140-pound girl.
If they caught you, the technique was clean. They're in the right spot. They got the right leverage.
She's like 112.
Yes. Oh, so you know LaCatherine.
Oh, yeah. I love her. Oh, she's
a sweetheart. Yeah.
She's the best.
Shout out to LaCatherine. She is an angel. But she's one of my more favorite roles because our styles are so like I caveman my way through shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
If I wait for something,
Oh, yes,
I catch it, I just break it. Like and I smile sadistically as I get a hold of it.
Yeah.
But
he's the king of Kimura.
I've been there.
That's also another thing with thinking it's a male-dominated sport. There's a difference between the physicality and the mentality. Like the one woman, the transgender guy who was in the military and just did the MMA fight.
Right. Not Fallon Fox. You're the other one.
The new one.
The new one, yeah.
Yeah, with all the tattoos. I don't know.
Yeah, I saw an article. I saw Damian Maya saying something about. I didn't read the whole thing, but I saw that he posted about it.
Like I'm not coming in saying like I can fight men and they're not going easy on me. No, it's not that. Like men are going to go easy on you. That's how it is, and they should. And I believe that. I'm not sitting here saying like, you know, I'm going to go fight someone who's 200 something pounds and I'm going to get them in a legit submission. Probably never going to happen. I'm just saying mentally, I'm able to roll with these people, no matter how hard or how light they go on me.
Right.
But I don't feel emotionally, I don't feel like I'm not welcome.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
But you know they're out
until
there.
I say something
and I would,
But look, but there's the opposite side of things.
I would never call anybody out on this, but we've seen it. We've all seen it.
Yeah.
What, men that are like nasty to women?
Men that go
super
full
hard.
fucking force.
Oh, yeah, I got
and I've seen it.
hard the other day.
I've had a couple conversations with guys because of it.
I personally looked out on the mat, and I'm watching, and I'm in disbelief. And they're not everywhere. It's not normal. It's not. But
they're outliers.
You're watching a guy, and for some reason, whatever, he's rolling with a girl who's smaller than him, whatever, and he's literally like mushing her fucking face, and I'm like,
oh, it happens.
And like, I don't know, man. Like, it's just weird, you know. Yeah. I always just make a mental note. I'm like, okay, fuck him up next time.
No,
like I don't want to be
bust
injured.
out the dick twister, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't want to be injured, but there are, you know, it's a lot of white belts. A lot of the guys who come in and they're like D1 wrestlers, and then they're like, oh, I've never done jiu-jitsu in my life. Well,
but your positioning is insane.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
you know how to fight.
One of the guys.
Stop the bullshit.
Yeah, one of our new guys at our gym.
Like
is,
the world's biggest blue belt that fucking Fernando sacrificed me to. I was wonderful. Thank you, Fernando.
He came in there with something to prove. Like,
first of all, he's an ogre. His fucking hands and feet are the size of like dinner plates. And
is
like,
he single?
I'll see. I'll send him your OnlyFans.
Yeah.
But,
Thanks.
But anyway, like this guy comes
It's
in.
just me eating chocolate cake in my bathing suit.
Sign me up. So I knew something was wrong when the guy's like sitting there and he's like, fucking, I'm a Neanderthal. This guy's gigantic. There's some weird evolution problems with this dude.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at him. He's like twitching. And I'm like, okay. And he had a blue belt on just because he didn't bring his belt. So they stuck that on him. Like, and I'm like, okay, why didn't we give him a white belt? Like, why didn't we put a white belt on him?
What's his belt level?
We don't know, but his ears were sealed shut.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he then proceeded to tell me that
he was a very skilled fighter.
He was from
a big guy.
Jacare's gym. He was from Jacare's gym.
So he hasn't learned anything in a while. He can't
Yeah,
hear
I
it.
mean, he said he fights. He fights professional MMA. And
Yeah,
I was like,
great.
okay, so you're not a fucking blue belt. So
Yeah.
But literally, Fernando like he instantly calls me out.
Yeah.
He's like, Ian, like, And I'm like, oh, Brandon, what are you doing? Like, and then we started so slow, and then it just turned into
a fight.
It turned into
for
a
their
fight.
lives.
And
Oh, no.
thankfully, I can hang my head and say that I got the sub, but 2 fucking fractured ribs later, I'm laying there wheezing on the mat. I'm like, at what cost?
And I'm watching him fight. So afterwards, Fernando walks up to me and he looks at the guy and he looks at me. He's like, "Hey, you guys go next." I literally looked at them and I was like, "No." I said, "I have
now I'm
I have
stupid,
work."
so I'd be like, okay.
I felt my ribs crunch. I was like, oh man, he just broke my fucking ribs. I was like, damn
I've had those moments in the gym where it's like I'm bullheadish. I'm gonna fight everybody. I'll fight 10 minutes, 12 minutes, 13 minutes. I don't care. 3 rounds in a row, no break. I've done all that shit. So I've come to a point in my life as a purple belt where I'm like, I don't feel like rolling with an asshole. I've earned that, I think. Like,
I think at this level you've earned that.
And at any level, you should have that. Like, if you know a dude is a mat psycho, you should have the ability to say, "Yeah, I'm gonna sit this one out." Like,
and there are some people that we can train with at full strength, full bore, and you know that not only is there a level of respect there, but there's a level of technical proficiency where you could fight at a really hard pace and not get hurt. What I saw from this gentleman there was he had no regard for the person he was training with.
Usually when someone gets that far along...
I was in situations with him where I was like, he's trying to kill me. This motherfucker is
usually when someone gets that far along, you learn some etiquette. Whether you're rolling with someone that's female or smaller or bigger, you gauge yourself based on what their skill level is, what their weight is, what their strength is, and you don't go 100. Like you go hard, you can go hard, but you don't go 100%. Especially when like you're visiting a gym, you're there, you're gonna be there for one class, and you're the biggest person there, and you're just going full force, rolling through everybody, taking no mental note of like. Some of these people are half my size.
It doesn't.
They're 3 belts lower than me, plausibly. Like no one is learning anything at that point if you're just trying to smash everyone.
There's that guy too. There's the guy, the higher belt, that never goes to higher belt class, and he always goes to beginner class. And you.
Oh, sorry, man. No, please keep going. Keep going.
I will. So this guy, and you see him pull off moves on like the guy that's been there for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And like he'll like rolling knee bar. Yeah. And I'm like,
guilty.
How in the hell was he supposed to defend that? Like,
it's like, why did you throw him all over your head onto the mat and then drop your knee in his belly?
I choked a guy out cold last week on Thursday.
CTE, there it is.
And you never apologized to me.
Yeah. Years from now when he can't redo his
kids. You still don't know what happened.
Did he wake up?
And you still owe me money.
This is true. This is true.
No,
Eddie, pay up.
Why does Eddie have to pay?
He's the younger brother. That's why he's got to pay up.
It's like a weird circle jerk, and I'm out.
It's only weird if you make eye contact.
Yeah.
Well, too late.
It's a triangle. It's 3 of them.
No,
there's no circles.
We haven't.
Fuck.
Doesn't know his shape.
He doesn't know his shape.
She was the one putting like the square block through the round hole.
Yeah.
Mushing it.
Shit.
Me? If you can't, okay. So when
wait a second.
When you drive stick, they call it if you can't find it, grind it. So.
Oh shit.
Just gonna say, force it.
I was drinking water. Sorry.
The block. What are you talking about? What do you think I was talking about?
If you can't find it, grind it.
Yeah. You can't find it, grind it. That's when your gear gets stuck.
You got a pen and paper.
I told you I was a dyke. No, but we have a new guy who's a white belt, but he did Greco-Roman wrestling.
Right.
And I haven't studied it much, so I don't know how in depth that is. But he goes so hard on everybody. He has hurt everyone in the class, and he's fantastic. He's the nicest guy ever. I really don't think that he means to. I just think that he's trying to learn and fighting. Yeah, he doesn't he's starting to learn. Like, okay, you can't go so crazy.
Right.
But he elbowed me in the teeth so hard, almost knocked me out last week.
Yeah.
on like Monday. And I mean, it was fantastic because I looked like Angelina Jolie for like a week. My whole lip was swollen.
Sounds horrible.
Unfortunately, my nose was swollen too, so I looked like Fran Drescher.
Barbara Streisand.
Yeah, Barbara. Don't you talk about Barbara.
That's a nice
Don't talk
combination
about
right
my
there.
Jewish heroine.
Oh, so Beaches is a movie you watch, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, so no Game
Big
of
Mel
Thrones,
Brooks
but
fan,
fucking
huh?
Beaches. Okay.
Oy
I am
vey.
a fruit fly. I love the gays. Anyway, so he hurt me on Monday.
Right.
Thursday, my signature move, everyone knows now,
There we go.
is I do a baseball bat choke.
Baseball butt.
Baseball butt. That's me.
I love the baseball button.
No, a baseball
favorite
bat
move.
choke from bottom.
Right.
So I'm in half guard, and as someone passes around, I go the other way, and I get the baseball bat choke.
Right.
Fucking Druva.
And you're not going to get it on a higher belt. It's just not going to happen unless they're just like completely in beast mode and they don't know what's happening.
Sure.
I did get it on a brown belt last week though, but so
Shout out to you. You know who you are.
his name's Morgan too. I love him.
Oh my God.
You will now lose sleep.
I
sorry,
love him.
Morgan.
No, he murders me. He won't let me have it.
Except for that one time you got him in a baseball bat.
Yes. We all
But
know
that's
about
because
it.
it's such a stupid choke that like people are like, what does she do? She's on bottom.
Yeah.
Why is she trying to choke me? Like it's the stupidest thing.
Do you
No,
hit it on
I
them?
love
You
them.
hit it on them when they like pass around. You actually
Yeah.
let them. Oh,
I let
man.
them pass.
You're the
I like
worst
loop
type
choke
of
I am
person.
the most
Worst type.
terrible human being on earth.
Yeah, no, I like loop chokes too. So a lot of people call that stupid choke or
Yeah, but it's still
what are they-
legit,
I
though.
love it. Yeah,
It's still
if you
legit.
get caught in
The
it,
baseball bat
I'm
choke
gonna
is
go for
not
it.
legit.
I love the Peruvian necktie personally. I like that.
Yeah, I've gotten that once in my whole jiu-jitsu career.
Like you're deadlifting their head. I'm
Yeah.
a big fan of that.
Yeah.
That's good.
I do like a good neck crank. I like a good crucifix with a neck crank.
Oh, so you like to
wow.
hurt people?
I like to injure
Yeah.
people. I'm kidding. I've never gotten a
That's
crucifix in my
never.
life.
That is never a phrase that comes from a nice person who rolls. I love.
Oh,
a
I'm
good
not nice.
Yes. Oh no.
You guys thought I was nice?
Yeah, no, he likes a lot of those like twist you into fucking pretzel moves.
Oh yeah,
A banana
absolutely.
split?
Yeah,
That's what's even-
yes,
wow.
yes, and
I-
very slowly too. Like you know what's happening, and you just can't get out of it.
Yeah.
You know,
Get
like
stuck.
yeah.
Electric
caught-
chair sweeps
you're
and all
caught-
those
you're
good
caught
stuff.
the
Yeah.
machine.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I
That's
wish
his-
more people would do the banana split on me because I want to eventually be flexible enough to do it. And it helps. It helps you become more flexible.
You know what? I want none of that. No banana chair, nothing.
Well, my balls are only.
Banana chair. Sounds like a whole new shit.
Now we have to make something up for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
One's
That's
the
gonna be the
electric
move I
chair,
create.
one's the banana split, and then if you want to go all full Eddie Bravo, there's the crotch ripper as
I
well.
was just about to say, what are we, fool? We 10th planet Royal Palm?
Yes.
What the fuck are we doing?
Is there another name for that called the episiotomy? Maybe.
He walks around his house in no gi, just spandex all day, like Eddie Bravo.
Who's the most insane person in the world?
Yeah, oh yeah. He sings that jujitsu song that he made. Have you seen Eddie Bravo's jujitsu song?
No.
on YouTube?
I'm not
Oh,
either.
you have done yourself a disservice. It is
Is
hilarious.
it new
I need to
or
look
is
it
No,
up.
he did it with like a legit like rapper slash
Well, Eddie,
rock.
Eddie Bravo's a good musician. He actually is.
Well, he kind of is a modern day like what it's. You understand why people followed Charles Manson
Yes.
Right.
because he's
There's crazy and it's
maniacal,
attractive. like, to people.
maniacal, and
He had
so
really
many
good
people
drugs.
love him.
Yeah.
Really good
That's
drugs.
true.
But he's brilliant too, right?
brilliant. It's
yeah, because he's a wild
obviously
man, but
brilliant.
he's brilliant.
Yeah.
With what he does.
Charles Manson was also a very good musician. He at
Yeah.
one point recorded with the Beach Boys, and that's
Oh,
a little
yeah.
known fact. That he
Wait a
was-
second. What are you trying to tell
Yeah,
me? The Beach
but they kicked
Boys
him out.
is the
The
epitome
Beach,
of
the Beach
fucking
Boys
music?
used to hang out with.
Fuck out of here.
Hey, I'm a white guy. Don't fucking shit on the Beach Boys.
I said, if you put on
And
the Beach
Hitler was
Boys,
an artist,
I'm
right?
above my head
But
too. All right,
nobody
I'm not
put
gonna
it.
lie. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, they got some hitters. They got some hitters, but
Wait,
for the
were you
most
just
part,
singing?
No.
go for it. Oh man, that's good. No,
Keep your feet below the table, Seth.
We should,
that's why
I'm
we have this
trying.
here.
No, this
That's
is
why we don't normally have the
Yeah.
tablecloth here.
And I had a
Sucks.
pedicure and everything. It's somehow it's worse.
Oh, really? No, go.
Yeah, I got Pepto Bismol on my toes right now.
They used a belt sander.
Yeah, and like in Dumb and Dumber,
Oh.
that's my life. They literally, my mom actually literally uses a belt sander on her feet.
That's
God.
beautiful.
Sorry, Mom.
So it's hereditary.
Oh, it's hereditary. Yeah, on both sides of my family.
Was it like a you come from a gypsy coal walker like family?
No, I'm half Italian and half Russian, so
Tundra walking?
Yes.
Yes.
In the mountains in the cold.
Permafrost. It's awful. Right?
Yeah. My mom is Catholic. My dad's Jewish. So basically, like, you know,
How did that work out?
You get all the holidays.
So
you
basically,
get all
like,
the holidays.
I can make you a deal, or we're gonna make a deal.
Oh, shit. Oh,
like, no,
shit.
it's like, we're going to make a deal.
Yeah.
Deal or no deal?
I'll leave a
Yeah.
horse head on your bed if you don't listen to
I'll
me.
negotiate with you until you refuse to negotiate with me. And
And the
that's
deal
why
is made.
Yeah, and that's why I make more than the OnlyFans girl.
There you
Hustling
go.
automobiles.
Yeah. I tell you what, too. As far as new fighters coming in that we were discussing earlier, on the women's side of things, Mackenzie Durham is an exciting fighter
Love
for
her.
me.
She is. The only problem I have with her is where did the Portuguese accent come from? She's from Colorado.
That is weird.
That's
Well,
weird.
if she spends all of her time training jiu-jitsu,
I just want to know.
Listen, how many
she's from
people do you
Colorado.
know
She's from Colorado.
that
and
adopt the jiu-jitsu vernacular to like the nth degree because they're training jiu-jitsu.
I recently found out,
I
and a lot
guess,
of
yeah.
and some of this has to do with head trauma. There is a thing called foreign accent syndrome.
Yeah.
Where if you have head trauma, like people will get into car accidents and all of a sudden they like speak Spanish and they never spoke Spanish before. Or I had a friend whose mom, it happened to her mom.
Dude, I'm all on board if I can start talking Australian.
I
Like,
know.
yeah,
That's the
we
thing.
need to go in the backyard and work on that head trauma.
oh man, just throw me off your roof. You know? I wake up. How long was I out, mate?
Just stand on the dog and jump off it. That's
Nelson, how you been, mate? How you been, Nelson? I haven't seen you since college.
My problem is every time I get hit in the head, I
Margo,
just-
when'd you get here? I'm fucking right.
I go full New York Jew when I get hit in the head. That's the problem. Like,
We're actually from New
Ow,
York.
downs.
We grew up in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Were you ever live in New York?
My stepmother is from New York, so I grew up with her, who her whole family's from New York, and I'm originally from like Philadelphia, Jersey area.
Nice. Nice. We lived in Pennsylvania for a short time as
I'm
well.
born and raised in Pennsylvania. So
I hated Pennsylvania so much, I joined the military. I didn't even go to my prom. Like, I called the recruiter. I was like, how do I get the fuck out of here? He's like, sir, I'll pick you up. He picked me up that night, put me in a hotel, took me to the MEP station, signed my life away.
Oh, yeah.
And left. But it was great. It was probably the best decision I could make for myself. But, yeah, Pennsylvania was... It was a little fun, but then it was just... It got really boring really fast for me. I grew up in the city, so...
Yeah, see, I was right outside the city, but my dad worked in the city. That's the thing, too. Like, I have a really weird thing about... I'm not fearful of anything, which is not good. Like, I will walk in a bikini through Miami at 3 a.m. I don't care. I'm, like, not afraid.
So
and it's
me.
like...
That's so funny.
Is that, that's how you guys met? That's how you guys met.
But yeah, well, he's my brother, so
No,
yeah.
him.
Oh, him? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, both of them. Yeah, together. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. And bun and bikini.
But-
Bikini. Walking down
yeah,
the streets of
mankini.
Miami. It sounds like
Mankini.
sounds like a good time.
That's what happens when you grow up in Philly.
Philly has a lot of weird people.
Yeah, well, they have
It
a lot
does.
of violence.
Yes,
I
they
mean,
do.
and this was the 80s and early 90s. So it's a different world. Like
Yeah.
people think like, oh, there's like gangster areas in Florida. I'm like, this is paradise.
Yes.
Go
Yeah.
go to the Philadelphia subway at 10 o'clock at night and tell me if you're gonna live.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no,
How
we
the-
grew
And
up
I
in
grew up in
Brooklyn,
that sh-
and when we moved to Philly too, like people that came from Brooklyn and moved to Pennsylvania were like, "Why are you guys trying to be gangster?" Like we left Brooklyn so
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
can be civil.
I want to pick those people and just drop them in South Philly for a
Yeah,
day
yeah,
and see what
yes.
happens.
The
Yes.
Philadelphia.
It's like, let me take you to grandma with the projects.
Yeah.
The real projects, like the ones they show in the movies where everyone gets killed in the
Oh, no,
elevator.
oh my
real
God.
project.
Listen,
and then see what real
listen to
gangster
me.
is.
When we would go to visit our grandmother in the projects, my father would wear a trench coat. I don't know if this is legal. Hide a gun,
I think it
or
is.
sometimes a samurai sword.
Yeah.
Like no fucking lie. And we would go, and he'd be like, "All right, everybody, walk together."
Well, one, if you get murdered by a guy in a trench coat, you deserve it for fucking
Listen,
the guy in a trench
I
coat.
got. We almost got.
Did the Matrix teach you nothing?
This is pre-Matrix. This is pre-Matrix.
no.
But this is my dad.
So you can say your father was the
full
influence.
afro, Puerto Rican, in the hood. Like he's
no.
like, "All right, let's go. We're going to visit grandma." And then when we knock on the door from top to bottom had 15 locks and a police bar. So it'd be like, "Grandma, who is it? It's us." You know,
All you
'cause
hear
that's-
is a drill, and they're
yeah,
just
it's
taking
just like
bandages
cha-ching,
off.
cha-ching,
But the
cha-ching,
don't matter.
cha-ching, 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 5-minute break. Cha-ching, 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 cha-ching.
Sorry, my arthritis.
Yeah.
No, we got almost carjacked driving through Camden while we were moving. While we're driving,
I believe it.
my mom's ex-husband was like 300 pounds, big biker guy with big tattoos and everything. Weird how I have a type. So we're driving. He had like a little Toyota. We borrowed a car because at this point we were living in Florida, but we would go back and visit. And we were going to see, of all things, a Fish concert. Total hippie. At
like
the E Center.
Fish?
Yeah,
like in a bowl.
No,
Yes.
PHI. It's like the Grateful Dead.
Like, wow, I didn't know that Fish played.
Lots of van life people there, just like jujitsu.
Yeah, they dropped the microphone into the tank. It's a beautiful thing.
It's waterproof.
Gurgle.
But
Or just keep swimming.
that's what we had to do. We're driving through Camden. People are running red lights, and we're like, why are they not stopping at
Because
the
they
red
don't
lights?
want to get carjacked.
We literally stopped for 2 seconds. All of a sudden, 4 guys come out. They start opening the doors and start taking the tires off. And I was like, oh,
Oh,
they
yeah.
it was like a pit crew at
I
NASCAR.
was gonna say, were you on a NASCAR team?
Yo, that happened to me in Brooklyn. A little less scary. It was just one bum. Me and my friend, me and my
4
friend
guys, 1 guy,
Rob,
whatever.
I'm dropping him off at his house, and we're just sitting in the car. We're talking real quick, and this bum just walks up to the back door and just opens it and proceeds to get in. My friend Rob is like, "Yo, what the fuck are you doing?" He's like, "I'm getting in the car."
Fucking Uber now.
This is before Uber.
So my friend Rob is like, "Hit the gas." I'm like,
Sorry,
I guess I'm hitting the gas. So put the car in drive. He's holding on, running with the car.
I've seen it.
We managed to get rid of him. The door closed on him several times. Dropped. We left. He was still alive. I saw him kind of scurrying afterwards. Yeah, the crack is good. Like, you don't feel pain.
That's not just a city thing though. That happens everywhere, I guess.
Well, we are in Florida too.
Yes.
Well, growing up in the farmlands of Pennsylvania, I know the one night I was leaving a party with my friend Donnie. Shout out to Donnie Blessing, Pennsylvania Air Force, U.S. Air Force. Anyway, so
Hi, Donnie.
hi, Donnie. So we're leaving the party, and he's taking his.
He put the whole dick-shaped fruit into his mouth.
No, it was a strawberry.
Which is shaped like the head of a.
It was a strawberry.
Wait, what is your dick?
Oh, just the tip now.
What is your dick shaped like if you don't think that a strawberry is shaped like a dick? What does it look like? I don't want to know.
You're gonna force me to leave again.
I don't want to look at Ian's phone again.
Do we have any plums?
Oh no, that's the wrong kind of triangle.
Oh my god.
So
please tell your story.
Okay.
Tell your
Continue.
Wait, tell your middle of nowhere farmer
Middle of
story
nowhere
with your
farmer
Air
story.
Force friend.
So we're leaving. Yes, exactly.
Sound real gay.
It's great. It's
The
great.
children of the
So we're
corn.
leaving this party, right? And Donnie is way too drunk to drive. Not,
Right.
not that we condone this, but me, being the friend that I am,
We
we're
condone it.
early
We're in
20s.
Florida.
Early 20s. Me, I don't know why I
You're
thought this
still
was going to
20?
help. Mentally.
Yeah.
But so he's leaving, and I'm like, well, I can't let him drive drunk alone.
Right.
I have to get in the passenger seat drunk. Like, this is going to help him. Anyway, we're driving home. Needless to say, he got paranoid, thought someone was following him. Hit a bank. Fucking truck flies through the air. We take out a farmer's fence. And I mean, like, truck slid sideways. I'm watching wooden posts explode on the door until the window blew out, and I got hit with fucking glass and rocks. Well, it goes back on the road, and we continue to go. I realized that when we get home, back to the house, truck's fucked. When we get back to my house, my wallet came out of my...
Oh, no.
It was up on the dash for some reason. I was drunk. So it came out and flew out of the fucking car.
Right.
I'm like, my driver's license is in that.
Oh no.
That farmer is going to find that wallet. He found out who just fucking destroyed his fence. And I'm
Coming
talking
at
like...
your house with some pitchforks.
Oh, we took out 50 yards of fucking
Yeah.
fence.
He's gonna hunt you down.
Oh yeah.
My girlfriend at the time, I'm not going to say her name, but...
You date
Hey,
women?
babe. Sometimes.
Sorry.
That's my mood.
I know. I'm
So,
surprised too.
This is before the man play. So she takes me back
Now
to the
nothing.
scene. You gonna let him talk to me like that? So my girlfriend we get in the car. I was like, we have to go back. Why? I need to find my wallet. Well, why is it in a farmer's field? Don't worry. So we drive back to the scene, middle of the night, headlights. I get out of the car. Thank God I found it in the dirt on the house. Miracle of God, I found my wallet.
Right.
As I'm picking up the wallet and going back to the car, I see a flashlight coming from the farmhouse down the road.
How did you not get shot?
I fucking panic. We're on a tiny
Shades
road.
of hills have
Banks
eyes.
on either side. She's in a Toyota Corolla. It don't go off road.
Yeah.
She's backing up, going forward. It's stick shift. Back up, going forward. I'm like, come on! Like I'm screaming. Like we finally get the car
Like
the
that.
way around. As we get the car the right way around and pointed back in the direction towards phone, we're in the middle of nowhere, like surrounded by nothing but fields.
Yeah.
He makes it to the fucking car. Old ass farmer dude.
Oh.
Has a bat in his fucking hand, jumps on the hood of the car, grabs a hold of the windshield wiper, puts his bat on the window, and he's like, shut the car off. I'll never fucking forget this. I literally turned and looked at my girlfriend. I said, blow him the fuck off. She goes into full panic mode.
Wait, did she understand what you were saying?
She's like, now's not the time, Ian.
So
That's not how we get out of this.
So she
Now's not the time.
That's how we get out of tickets.
So basically, she just goes into panic mode, screams, stomps on the fucking gas, takes off. This farmer blew off the fucking car.
Yeah.
We made it up to like 45 before his ass went boom.
Well, that's what I was going to say when you guys...
He's probably dead. Shout out to the family that's still taking care of the
He's
farm.
definitely not dead.
They're pretty resilient.
Oh, yeah.
No, but that's...
sturdy guy.
That
Resilient
actually
folk.
reminds me of what we were talking about in the beginning of like watching old men fight. Like, I love old guy strength. Like, I love like an old dude fight because it's like they still got it.
Oh, yeah.
Like everything's going to break, but they're going to fight to the death, you know?
They got something to prove. Yeah.
So you're alive. You lived. I'm surprised he didn't have a gun though out in Pennsylvania.
You know, thankfully he didn't, because he definitely would have shot
They're
the
definitely fans of guns out there.
Yeah, he's probably still in shock that somebody destroyed his fucking fence. He wanted restitution, and Ian's like, blow him off.
Yeah.
So I did.
Who even uses that terminology? Like, you could have said, there's 9 things you could have said besides
Yes.
blow him off. You could have said, like, drive or knock him off the hood or try to get him off the front of the car.
Hit the gas.
Or just go. G-O, go.
Commit a homicide.
Yeah.
I gave her very specific instructions.
Blow him off. Blow him off. You were really trying to get rid of her,
I
weren't you?
was trying to get rid of her. That was the reason.
Okay.
Remember when you blew that farmer?
Yeah. You told me to.
You said you loved me.
No, but
good
that's
times.
funny because Pennsylvania story, Florida story. I actually had a friend that jumped out of a car on 95 in Jupiter. They were going 55. He literally tucked and rolled, jumped out, lost his phone, his keys, his wallet, went back the next day and found all of it.
On the highway.
Yep.
Wow.
That's pretty slick.
Yeah, Mike Leahy, who's insane, literally insane, which so many other people are too. So
Shout out. How you doing, Mike?
yeah.
Nice.
Tuck and roll.
Oh yeah.
Good Lord. Wow. I'm sorry, Dave.
No, go ahead. I was
You're-
still contemplating the whole blow him
off.
trying to get past it.
Oh, there's no getting past this.
No, you're
It's
absolutely
been
right.
so many years, I'm still not past it.
I was gonna say he's still upset. Hasn't had a girlfriend since.
Exactly. watching her blow that farmer just changed my life. Changed my life for the better.
So let me ask you. So speaking about, and we were talking about fighting earlier and everything. As far as like MMA is concerned, if you had to pick just one fighting style that you think carries the rest of the fighting styles, right? And we're all jiu-jitsu people here, so I'll try not to be
Possibly
biased.
a little biased.
But what do you think is probably the most important fighting style as far as like the MMA community is concerned that you see like from your favorite fighters? It doesn't even have to be like, oh man, this is the most relevant or this is the one that does the most damage.
MMA or self-defense?
MMA in general.
Yeah.
What would you say, Ian? Start with you.
Oh man, I mean, I'll go with wrestling, and the reason I'm gonna go with wrestling is like jiu-jitsu. I think like jiu-jitsu, everybody practices. Like, I mean, I think that kind of proved itself since the first UFC. It showed that there's no bullshit. Like, if you put it in any situation, you're at least able to act. The only thing I would point out about jiu-jitsu is the limited amount of abilities to dictate where the fight takes place. Like wrestling dictates where the fight takes place, and that's how you can neutralize someone who's like a boxer or a kickboxer. It doesn't matter if you're a K1 champion or a Golden Gloves boxer. If I put you on
pinned
your
to the ground.
if I put you on your back, you don't know shit.
Right.
Like, you don't box or kickbox on your back.
As long as you don't Ben Askren it.
Right. As long as
you're
you don't,
okay.
as long as you don't run directly into the knee.
Yeah.
Your chances of success
He
are much higher.
probably thought that afro was going to save him. Let's be
did.
real. Like, he's like, I've got a full-on head helmet here.
Right.
I'll be good to go.
We saw the Robbie Lawler fight. He could take, he can take a beating. So
Yeah, that Robbie Lawler fight is probably what led to him getting knocked out.
Yeah, it
Robbie
definitely was the
put a
beginning
beat
of the-
on him. Like
Yeah. He's one of my faves.
Yeah,
Robbie,
he's
yeah.
a beast. Yeah, a very underrated fighter. I think.
well, he's got a hell of a fight coming up.
Yeah.
He's
Him
got Nick Diaz.
Yeah.
Nick Diaz,
I
and
wanna
that's
see
a
that.
that's a replay of a fight from like almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Should be a good fight, but I love the Diaz brothers, but I probably put my money on Robbie.
How long do you think they're going to keep going?
They can go for as
There
long
is
as
so
they
much
need
CTE in that family.
Yeah, it's
No, I think it's because
What, you
they
mean-
take time off. They're not always
Yeah.
fighting. They're always training. They're always fighting, but then they take time away from the sport. They're such a big name They come back. Win or lose, people still love
because
them.
they've been at it forever.
Well, the Diaz brothers adopt the whole Rocky Balboa defense strategy of just absorb everything with your face, and it got Rocky into the boxing hall of fame.
Just keep marching forward. Yeah.
What is it with you and like blow him off, absorb everything with your face? Like,
well, why do you think he looks like that?
I live by a code.
Why do you think he looks like that?
Good point.
You're not the only one with only.
All right, so for you, wrestling, right? So
I'm going with wrestling.
That would be you.
Just because.
What about you, Margo?
I'm gonna be an indecisive woman right now and say it really depends on the situation. Like, I think MMA in the cage, I want to say probably Muay Thai for stand up, and then jiu-jitsu for on the ground.
Okay, all right.
But I did a little bit of judo here and there. I think like in self defense in the street, I think judo is a good thing to have because you can kind of just grab someone and get them to the ground, and then you kind of have to go from there. So,
and also, even a lot of jiu-jiteros do use judo moves. Yeah, and wrestling.
Really, wrestling. Anything with takedowns, if you can get someone on the ground.
To get them to the floor.
Yeah.
That's
anything with a
component.
well, judo and wrestling, anything with a takedown. If you're on the street, the sidewalk is not the most forgiving place to land. So
no, absolutely.
Especially
American History X.
Especially if you,
wow. She pulled a Derek Vineyard out. Oh my God.
We talk about the Lord of the Rings and how nice they are.
Yeah.
Harry Potter, and she's like American History X.
I can't really get into like Star Wars. I like neo-Nazi documentaries. I bet Netflix and chill is real fun at your house.
She's like, when I want to have a good time, Schindler's List.
Yeah. Come on in. I'm reading Mein Kampf. Jesus, Margo.
I'm way more than self-deprecating.
All right, Ed. What about you? Fight style.
Ballet.
Yeah, it's hard to.
Wow. Tension on this end of the
It's hard to deny the dominance of wrestling right now, especially with everyone out of Dagestan that's coming in. I think what we're going to start seeing a lot more is a lot of the no-gi influence. That's kind of, especially with the things like the Eddie Bravo Invitationals, where you have open hands allowed. So they're starting to
obsessed with Eddie.
So he's entertaining.
He's a pretty guy.
You have a lot of that where the positions that are very dominant in jiu-jitsu that don't work once you allow hands are going to start getting weeded out.
Like
with
Baron,
the way
Bolo.
With the way he's implementing that. So I think as that comes in and you see a lot of wrestling influence coming into the no-gi at the same time, I think that's going to start weeding its way into there.
Because that's things I don't even practice. Like, I mean, I'll do it if the instructor is obviously drilling it and stuff. But like, if the defense to the actual technique is just punch him in the face, I'm like, all right, like, like I'm not, I don't know about everybody here, but I don't really want to like invert beneath some dude. Like he's got his hand right here, and I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna reach for your foot lapel. Like, no, I don't know. It just seems like
Dick Twister, bro.
Margo inverts.
Wait, why did you go like? Why did you do it a couple times?
I can't reach it.
That's the ball twister.
Stop moving. Got
it. So for me, I would have to go with jiu-jitsu, and I love wrestling, and I think more of a modern take on jiu-jitsu
combination
is what I feel like is really strong in the MMA environment because of the submissions more so. Like there's no doubting the dominance in the takedown and the work ethic behind a wrestler. I think they're fantastic fighters. But for jiu-jitsu, that extra element of the submission that you're trained in, like the deep waters, in bad positions, good positions, is another element to worry about on the floor. Also with wrestling too, when you pin someone, you're still using a lot of your strength to keep them pinned. So if you are trying to subdue somebody and the cops are coming and they take forever to get there, I live in the farms. But if you're trying to subdue someone, you're trying to hold them down, you're still using all your strength. You're going to get tired. But in jiu-jitsu, you can kind of put someone in a triangle or, in a rear naked choke position, and you can hold on to them without using a ton of strength for a long period of time. If in the worst case scenario you need to, especially military, Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Actually, in the military now, the combatives program is teaching jiu-jitsu. Yeah, a lot of jiu-jitsu. When I was in the service, they taught us like a form of martial arts that was basically like Rangers fighting style that they would teach us, which was basically like grip the lip, rip out a tongue, pull the ear, break a knee, stick your thumb in their eye.
The lip.
Like this. Fish up.
Only.
And then blow him off.
Yes.
No, Ian.
That was step 2. What?
You're on timeout, sir.
He likes being put in the corner.
Clearly. Oh man! All right. Well, look, it was a great podcast. Thank you for coming, Margo.
Yeah,
we
definitely.
appreciate
Thanks
you
for
stopping
having me.
by. Ed, hit the music. Thank you for coming and visiting us at the Sofa Kingdom Podcast, and you can find us on all your social media platforms at
Sofa Kingdom OFC
and on YouTube at
Sofa Kingdom Podcast.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
Also, don't forget to check out Jitzchickz. Make her famous.
That's right.
I don't want to talk to anyone.
That's a lie.
Super friendly.
Yes, very.
Cool. Good podcast, everybody.
All right, my ass is sweating on the couch.
And my Denisi's at like 70.
I'm gonna get up. There's just gonna be a puddle.
Get up.
From urine, not from me sweating.
These extra lights.
No, my lights are so hot. My lights in my house are like, because that guy gave me the lighting equipment. It's like,
You got super excited about the caveman talk.
yeah, well, yeah, that's my thing. Oh, thank you.